Two cycles you need to know are nitrogen and phosphorus. You might have heard of them or maybe not, so we're gonna go through them real quick just like we did with the other two cycles. Nitrogen first. Why do we need nitrogen? Because nitrogen is in our DNA and proteins. All of these things on the left are pieces, of DNA or RNA. See all the N's in there? That's nitrogen. Over here are two protein pieces, and they have N's. Without nitrogen, we wouldn't have those very important molecules. Nitrogen gas is in the atmosphere, but we don't breathe it. We breathe oxygen, and plants breathe carbon dioxide and oxygen. So how are we going to get nitrogen gas into our bodies if we can't breathe it? Well, there are bacteria chilling in the soil, in the dirt, around the plant roots. And they are called nitrogen-fixing bacteria. What they do is they take that gas and turn it into a form that plants can absorb. They're called nitrates and ammonia. So like in this picture, the bacteria around the plants change the nitrogen gas into a form plants can use, and then plants can suck it up with their water and use it in their molecules. Thank you to those bacteria, or else none of us would be alive. It then gets passed through a food chain. Things eat the plants and so on. As living things die and decomposers break them down, they can break apart those molecules, and eventually bacteria will return it to the atmosphere as nitrogen gas. So it goes back to the atmosphere. We have air, bacteria, food chain, and then death and back to the atmosphere. Here's a picture. Humans are obviously doing things to increase it because that's what humans do. But basically, it goes between the bacteria in the ground, the plants, and the animal. Why do we need phosphorus? It's also in DNA, and it's in ATP. The P stands for phosphate, which is 3 of these P's. Yeah. One thing about phosphorus, and also nitrogen too, but definitely phosphorus, is that it's something called a limiting nutrient. That means if there's not enough of it, then plants won't grow. Or if there's too much, then plants are going to grow a lot. That can also cause problems. Phosphorus is found in rocks. There is no other place really that it's found on Earth. It's in rocks and in dirt. As these rocks break down over time, they release some phosphorus, which then plants can take up in their roots with their water, because the phosphorus, as it breaks down, kind of gets dissolved in water. It goes in the plants. Plants get eaten, it goes up the food chain, and again, as it gets broken down by decomposers, it gets returned to the soil. So phosphorus is a little different because it starts with rocks and eventually gets into plants and animals. Nitrogen was a little different because it started with bacteria pulling the gas out of the air, and eventually it gets into plants and animals. For all 4 of these cycles, carbon, water, nitrogen, phosphorus, you should know what's happening, why we care about it, and we're going to do a project here about what humans are doing to mess it up, because we do a lot to mess up the environment. I'm sure you've realized that. Let's say our secret word is phosphorus. That sounds like a fun word for today. We have 2 more notes left in this trimester, so keep up with your notebook. Make sure it's all done. See you next time.